Hi everyone, my name is SAI Kumar and I'm working at Safaricom in Analytics Division and my role is Senior Manager Analytics. So before we get deeper into this particular discussion of data science, let's understand that data science is something that is on big trend across the world. You know, big organizations like IBM, Oracle, Google, Microsoft, everyone is looking to hire data scientists. So I hope you guys understand that this data science is an ongoing trend. Now let's understand what is that we are going to cover in this particular session. In this particular session, we'll be knowing who is a data science or who is a data scientist. What does a data scientist do? I mean, what is your career path to go up in data science? So majorly the discussion will be around data science, and as a data scientist, what would you do at Safaricom? Let's start with the first question. Who is a data scientist? In simple words, if I have to say, someone who can apply science on data and derive insights out of it so that business can make some decisions. So that's, in simple words, data scientist. But let me break it for you. So data scientist, see, if assume that I'm Safaricom and I wanted to reach out to my 30 million customers during this Christmas and give some offers, but I cannot give offers to all those 30 million customers, right? So a better way would be, I have a business problem. So first step in data science is like, you'll start with a business problem. My business problem right now is to identify potential customers to whom I can offer something. That's my problem. So as a data scientist, you should talk to businesses. Assume that I'm the business and you are the data scientist. So you talk to me, understand my business problem. Once you understand my business problem, then you start exploring the data. What do you mean by data exploration? See, 30 million customers, they do transactions, they do calls, they browse, and they chat on WhatsApp and all that. So there is lots of information that is being gathered on Safaricom site or in any organization, may it be banks, may it be retail, in any organization that's happening. So once you know that this is the business problem, be it be recommendation engine, be it be credit scoring engine, be it be anything. But once you understood the business problem, the next step for you is to understand the data and see whether it can solve the business problem or not. So as a data scientist, step one, understand the business problem. You understood it. Now step two. The step two is explore the data. I mean, there are tools like Python, there are tools like R or Tableau and many other tools. You're going to use these tools to explore the data. Once you explore the data, you know how to solve the problem. So business problem, data exploration. Now, once you explore the data, the next step is to automate. What do you mean by automate? See, 30 million customers, right? I need some intelligent system that can tell me, hey, these are the customers you have to target, right? So using machine learning, we are going to automate this decision making process. So that's step three. Once you're done with the step three, the step four is to communicate the insights to the business. So now any organization, the end goal is data scientists should understand the problem, explore the data, automate it with machine learning, and derive insights out of that data and provide the insights to the business for better decision making. That is data scientist. Now, why do you think data science is important for any organization? So think it this simple way. I'm a telecom chain, Safaricom, and we have 30 million customers. 30 million customers have 30 million devices. Now this 30 million devices every second will generate lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of data. Now the first biggest problem I'll definitely have is to handle that incoming data from 30 million customers every second, which means every second I have 30 million data points coming into my system. Now, using data science or using big data, I'll be able to handle that big data. That's the reason we need data science in any organization. That's only one part of it. The second part is, imagine, see, it's not just a customer using his device. A customer is connected to another customer also. In this digital world, everything is connected. For example, if I go to a merchant or Carrefour, you take out your phone, you do the transaction, and the money goes into Carrefour, right? But I have to store all this information, gather all this information, and derive insights, right? So in this digitally connected world, you need technology like or science like data science, so that you can understand your customers, understand their transactions, and derive insights. It just doesn't stop there. As I was mentioning in the previous slide, it's very important that an organization has data scientists who can help them to automate the processes. What do you mean by automating the process? I was telling you, right, assume that I'm a bank now and I have 1 million customers and I have to give one loan to 1 million customers. I cannot call every customer and tell them that, do you need a loan? Or I cannot give loans to everyone, because not everyone will pay back. So here the point is, I need an intelligent system, which is as good as a human, but should be able to tell me that out of this 1 million customers, maybe 500,000 customers you can give them loans because their credit risk is low. So you need machine learning for you to automate many things so that you can scale up your intelligence. So any organization would need a machine learning system for them to automate the decision making. And at the end goal is to keep the customer happy. See, for example, if you see many retail stores during the Christmas or during any big festive season, they give offers. Why do they give offers? Just to keep customer happy. But the next obvious question is, there are 40 different offers. There are, say, 30 million customers. Each customer has his own thought, right? I cannot give this 40 offers to 30 million customers. What I would say is, I should tell, hey customer, these are the 4 offers I picked for you, and I'm sure you might like them. So take these offers. So at the end goal is to make sure that customer is satisfied. So why does an organization needs data science? In simple words, to handle that huge amount of data, to derive insights from that huge amount of data, to automate machine learning algorithms so that it can handle that huge number of customers, and we do this to make sure that the end customer is happy. Now let's talk about what are the skills that are required to become a data scientist. So remember, this data scientist has 2 words, data and scientist. So the word scientist says that you are a special guy. So which means your basic foundations in mathematics should be very strong. When I say mathematics, what do I mean by mathematics? The mathematics which you have learnt in your grade 10, grade 12, linear algebra, calculus, geometry, statistics, you should be very good at them. Because most of the machine learning algorithms, their base is mathematics. So if you know mathematics well, then you know machine learning well. So it is better you have the foundations in mathematics very solid. That's one basic thing which we look in for a data scientist. Now, the second obvious thing is, as a data scientist, you work with computers. It's not like you just write something on papers, right? You work with computers. So when you work with computers, you should know programming. So the another foundation, while mathematics is one foundation which you should know in data science, the another thing which you should also know is programming and data structures. The reason I'm saying this is, if you are a good programmer, then you can also become a good data scientist. For a data scientist, programming is very important because you write some complex programs to automate many things, to do decision making. So all this definitely would need some good skills in programming. So programming is a must. And the another foundation which you should look into is data structures. See, when you're dealing with huge amount of data, it is also important that your concepts of data structures should be very concrete. So the first foundation is mathematics, and the second foundation that you should know is data structures and programming. Now the third one is data analysis. So what do you mean by data analysis? Say I gave you some data about customers, and you're supposed to help me with some insights for me to make decisions. Okay, so the obvious skill which I will look into you is, you should be able to do some data analysis. You should explore the data and bring out some cool visualizations out of it, so that I can use these visualizations, or I can use these insights to help businesses make better decisions. So one more skill that should be there is, like, you should have good analysis skills, good breakdown skills. good data understanding skills, good data visualization skills. So we are done with mathematics, we are done with programming and data structures, we are done with data visualization and data analysis. The fourth step which you should know for all good reasons is machine learning. See, as a data scientist, you will spend good amount of time in data plumbing or data engineering. When I say data plumbing, when I give you data, you don't jump into machine learning. You do step-by-step analysis of data, understand the data, and then you start machine learning. So the fourth step which we are talking is about machine learning. So, and also deep learning. See, machine learning is used for problems like, should I give a loan to this customer or not? Or for this customer, can I give this offer or not? Things like that. But there is the other side called deep learning. Deep learning has more to do with images and AI, artificial intelligence. So you should be very good with machine learning on one side and also deep learning on other side for you to become a super data scientist. And the fifth one is, we spoke about many things, right? So we spoke about mathematics, we spoke about data structures and programming, data analysis skills, machine learning skills. But when you're coming into the real world problems, you'll write many programs. I mean, you connect to different data sources, extract data, you write many data analysis modules, you'll write many machine learning modules. So it's a hole in whole, a big pipeline. So you should have skills to stitch each of this module and have a concrete but at the same time an efficient pipeline. So another skill which you should have is good pipeline making skills. So that's one. And the obvious last one which you need to have is business acumen skills. When I say business acumen, I mean, assume that you're a good techie guy and data scientist, but if you're not very good in communicating the results which you see with businesses, or if you're not very good at understanding the problems of businesses, then there is no point. So one good skill every data scientist should have is understanding the business problems, understanding the business domains. These are like another skill that a data scientist should have. So these are the 6 skills that will make you a very proper data scientist. Now, how do you build your career in data science? See, data science, there are multiple options, you know. It's not like whatever I'm telling you now is not the only way, there are other ways. But I'm suggesting you the way in which you can reach the end goal of becoming a proper data scientist, okay. In the previous slide, I was talking about different skills you need to have. One such skill is programming and data structures. So what will be good is, it's good if you have this software engineer skills. So if I have to say, maybe you should start as a software engineer. It doesn't mean that you should start as a software engineer, but given an opportunity, start as a software engineer and slowly become data scientist. So don't just try to look for data science roles, because a data scientist should also have proper software engineering skills. So maybe if you have an opportunity, start with software engineering. In software engineering, you should be very good with programming and data structures. That's your step 1. Now, over time, then slowly jump into data analyst. What do you mean by data analyst? Someone who is very good in understanding the data, someone who is very good in bringing insights out of the data, someone who is very good in making nice, beautiful charts and visualizations and presenting it to the business. That's data analyst. So you might start as a software engineer and then get promoted as data analyst, and then while data analyst and software engineer are 2 things, there is one thing called data engineering. So data engineering, you know this, there is a word called big data, which means like you have maybe a 16-node cluster. In that 16-node cluster, you have terabytes of data, but you need people who can process that data and derive insights out of it, right? So that's data engineering. So data engineering is essentially engineering the data and transforming the data so that you can use it to build something. That could be machine learning, that could be to do decision making, whatever. So data engineer, someone who can actually write pipelines that can collect data from different sources, store data, process data, and share data. So these are the basic roles of a data engineer. So you might start as a software engineer, then you might get into data analyst, then data engineer, and now you have done the 3 basic things that a data scientist would require. Now you become a data scientist. So what does a data scientist do? He does software engineering, he does data analysis, he does data engineering. Apart from this, he also does machine learning and deep learning. So you should be good with your mathematical skills, machine learning skills and deep learning skills. So the point here is, I'm not trying to tell you that you should go in the same direction. Probably you might start as a data engineer and become data scientist. Probably if you have already all the skills, then you might directly jump into data scientist. So I'm just giving you a guidance on the different roles or the different steps you're going to take to become a data scientist, but you might directly become a data scientist if you already have this skills. All these are good, okay, but there is one more role that every data scientist want to become, that's AI consultant. AI consultant is the last step. For example, I spent my career as a data scientist in a company for 5 years. Now I know in and out of data science. Should I still be the same data scientist who is programming and stuff? Not necessarily. Probably the next step is to become a consultant in data, AI consultant. I mean, engage businesses, understand their problems, lead a big team and get the data science work done through that big team. So 5 steps: software engineer, data analyst, data engineer, data scientist and AI consultant. Okay, now let's see what are the roles in Safaricom related to data. We'll start with the basic one. The basic one would be the BI, business intelligence, or a data analyst. So I already talked about what is data analyst, right? Someone who can explore the data, someone who can understand the data, someone who can derive insights out of data, present the results to the businesses so that they can make better decisions. So more or like business intelligence and data analysts, they try to do the same thing. That's one role. So BI or a data analyst. The second role is big data engineer. As a data scientist, for me to automate something through machine learning, the first step is to process data, or the first step is to collect data. Who will collect the data? For example, Safaricom has 30 different data sources through which the data comes in. First step is, who will integrate those 30 different data sources and bring the data and put it somewhere, maybe at a centralized data warehouse. And also, how would I ensure that the huge incoming data is stored on a scalable cluster? When I say scalable, you'll get to know more as you know more about big data, but you need to have a cluster which is scalable, okay? So we need a big data engineer who can actually bring data from different sources and store it at one centralized repository which is scalable, process all this data and make it available, make the feature store available for data scientists, data analysts and BI developers for them to do their work. So this big data engineering becomes a base. So one role which we have is big data developer or big data engineer. And the third obvious role is data scientist, which you guys are looking for. But let me tell you, all these are interconnected. It doesn't mean that you just do BI and data analyst or you just do big data engineering. All these are interconnected and each of the teams communicate with each other every day. And the fourth role which we have is an AI engineer. While data scientists will build maybe platforms for giving loans or not, or for recommendations and all this, or customer value management, all this might be done by a data scientist. But you know what? I might want to build a chatbot, or I might want to do KYC, know your customer, using some advanced AI algorithms. So one more role which we have is AI engineer. What are the different roles in Safaricom that are related to data? There are 4 roles. One is data analyst, one is data scientist, one is big data engineer, and one is AI consultant. Let's understand one by one. Data analyst, someone who can explore data, derive insights, and present the results to businesses. So that's one role. In this role, you're expected to know statistics, and also you're expected to know data visualization tools like BI, like Power BI, Tableau. So only this is called as data analyst and business intelligence. That's one role which we are looking at. The second role is big data engineering. So what is the responsibilities of a big data engineer? See, there are many different data sources, right? So you need an engineer who can integrate with those data sources, bring all that data and put it in a centralized platform, process that data, and allow the other teams like data analyst teams or data scientist teams to start working on it. So, the whole point of big data engineering is to ensure that the incoming data is well handled and stored at a centralized repository, and access is given to data analysts and data scientists. So, this is one role. And the third role which we are looking at is data scientist. We already spoke about data scientist, machine learning, deep learning, very good in programming, very good in mathematics. So, this is what makes a data scientist. So, that is the third role. And the fourth role is AI engineer. There is not much difference between data scientist and AI engineer. It is just that AI engineer main focus would be on deep learning, on chatbots, on some image recognition algorithms. That will be the major role of an AI engineer. So, 4 roles: data analyst, big data engineer, data scientist, and AI engineer. I think you enjoyed this session, and all the best for your career, and we have explored different opportunities and options. Now you know how to become a data scientist, and all the best.